Not quite certain how I'm going to block this video out. Could be one video, could be two videos. If it goes for 3 videos, I'll be sorely disappointed in myself. It's not that I love the sound of my voice, it's just I've got a lot of content that I have to go through. So, let's skip the intro and get to it. So much bubble wrap. Oh my god. We really didn't like this thing getting ruined. I guess the budget for shipping packages must have been low. Clearly this is a second-hand box. Oh well. And it is a... Oh, it's one of those non-fan ring fans. You know, it's a ring, but, you know, you can stick your hand through it. Basically pulls air in and pushes it out. Box for one of those. That's not what I got. That's just the box it used. Gimmicky, but effective. Boy, what a reflection that is on what I've got actually in here. Gimmicky, but effective. Oh boy, am I going to eat my words later. Gotta love those Asian eBay sellers. The ones that are, or those non-corporate Asian sellers. They always send along a little goodie. Bleach? Ugh. Maybe I'll take this with me over to BobaCon and see if they can do something with it. I'm not going to open this. As a forward, I'm not entirely certain what brought this on. This wasn't necessarily an impulse buy, but the uncertainty is still real, I'll say. It's a strange intro, but whatever. Here we go. The Goseiger brothers. Because why not? I'd like to point out, in case you didn't see it, in my review of the 1, 2, 3 Goseiger brothers right here, on Collection DX when I did my review 6 years ago, not 9 years ago, I pointed out that this is the first set of headers that came out. Is that right? There's no 01 or anything on there, whatever. This is the first set. This is the first official releases because we saw Goseiger, and that's kind of all we knew. And then we saw the Rangers themselves. This was the first accessory set to come out. And I relate the story that the first time I saw it, I started laughing and I couldn't stop laughing for about 5 minutes because it was so fucking awful. Like compared to Goseiger, it was like, ugh. But you see, I mean. Headers was a brand new thing. What the hell? What the header? And I looked at it and like, terrible, terrible, really, really bad. And I just, like, I was laughing so hard I fell off my chair. Well, technically it was a stool, so there was no backing on it. But still, the point stands. I fell out of my chair. I was laughing so hard. And I would try to reach up for the keyboard to move the picture away, and I'd see it again because like I don't want to look at it, but I can't stop looking at it. It's too fucking hilarious, and I just started laughing again. It wasn't because it was funny; it's because it was terrible. There are very few things that I laugh at that are, you know, so terrible that they're funny. I disagree with the internet on a lot of definition of what's awful can be funny. I disagree on a lot of those things. Skateboarders who nut themselves, for example, that's not funny in the slightest because sympathy pain. But anyways, yeah, here it is come full circle. This and Goseiger, I'd had these before, okay? I'd had these before 6 years ago, and I hated the notion of even having this thing around. Nowadays, I'm like, well, it's been about 2 weeks since I made the last video, so Actually, it's been longer than that. This is mid-October. I filmed that in, was it late September? Is it late September or early October? One or the other. It's about the same. Anyways, do I regret the decision? No. No, it's just, it exists and, whatever, you know. I've been watching Goseiger, by the way, or I've been catching up on Goseiger. I'm up to, I think it's the early episode 20s now. War Store is gone, and now they've moved on to the Yumaju, however you want to say that. And Gosei Knight has made his appearance. Asshole. Yeah. Maybe it's just my exposure to the show. Because keep in mind, I didn't, like, when it came out in 2010, I only saw like 2 or 3 episodes, just enough to get an intro for Gosei Grade and the first header set, which would be these guys. And then I stopped. Because, like, I couldn't stand it, because I hated it at the time. So now, I'm watching Goseiger because I had gotten this. I'd gotten this actual, you know, specific model. So, maybe it's a rub-off effect of I only like it if I'm actively watching it. I don't know. I can't say. It's too early. All I do know is that I hated this before. Like, I would never ever touch it. These were as far as I was going to go, and well, now I've got these. Let's crack it open, shall we? Mint in sealed box, I'd like to point out. And for almost market value. There's the Siak Brothers card. I think I'll just leave it there, because, I mean, I don't have a tensoder, so I'm not going to use it. Yeah, it just occurred to me. The hammerhead header, or is it just, yeah, I guess it would be the hammer header? The hammerhead header is the color that I expected the Kerberos Voyager to be. Like the Kerberos Voyager, give me a moment. Like, all the photos, and indeed when I watch the playback on YouTube of my own unboxing video, the videos and the photos, official photos and stuff, they all say that this registers as blue. And I got it thinking it was going to be blue. Even the promo for it in the movie trailer, the movie I haven't seen yet, it was blue. It was turquoise. It was blue. But seeing it in person, and obviously it's not going to come across on camera here, you're just going to have to take my word for it. This is green. This is kind of a sea green color. I mean, yeah, there's a blue-ish, but it's more green than it is blue. So now all of a sudden, 6 years after the fact, I look at the hammerhead header. That's hard to say, hammer header. Just get over it. I look at the hammer header, and I don't know how well it's going to come across on my very old and somewhat potato-ish camera, mind you, but that's the color that I expected Kerberos Voyager to be. That's the color I expected. That's what it should have been. So, well, what happened? I mean, they're obviously capable of producing that particular shade of blue. It's just, for whatever reason, all video is very, very deceptive. So anyways, yeah, that's an interesting little bit of trivia right there. And very front heavy. Boy, it doesn't take much to do that. It doesn't take much effort at all. Stay. Dare I say my least favorite of the three? Well, it's kind of hard to say. They're all pretty, well, they're not exactly pretty. I can see what they're going for. Just, I look at that, and then I look at that, and then I look at what that's over there, and I'm like, like, I could give a pass on the Skyke brothers, on the Skyke brother headers, because, you know, like, they actually look like the animal they say they are. These things are just... There's the saw shark header. Oh, I thought the mouth went further than that. And then this. I wonder if they intentionally want it to click like that or not. Like, did they intentionally want it to click, or that's just simply how the gears worked out? I don't know. I noticed that Power Rangers, is it Super Ninja Steel? Their Megazord cockpit weapon is a chainsaw. Excuse me, it's a chain sword. And kind of does pretty much the same thing that this does. Only it's longer and it has more gears, saw blades on it. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it works. I mean, it's saw blades on a saw shark. Ah, so funny. But the presentation, you know, just... Yeah. Oh, Ava, is that regrets I hear over there? No, not yet. Not necessarily. I think they could have done better. Like, get rid of the handle and just, you know, have us turn it like this. You know, that's fine. Instead, we've got this huge little non-retractable handle, which Goseiger seems to have a thing for. I mention this because, well, the only other example I've got is they had this huge thing, which is now the third time I've had to point this out in the last 6 years. We've got this huge thing here, and then they've got this unnecessarily over here as well. So, again, why couldn't they have just engineered this handle to be able to flip to the side so it'd be able to plug in, and you wouldn't have to have this damn thing on the side? Because keep in mind, this specific header point right here never gets used in any combination hereafter. The only reason this exists is so that it can plug into the back of Goseiger. That's the only reason that header point exists. Now, this is a transformation mounting point, fair enough. But they could easily have engineered that handle to maybe turn to the side and stick in there, or, you know, why the hell would you stick this on the side? You know, you don't need that. You could use it for the, what was that thing called, the Gosei microphone or whatever it is. Like, you had that stupid ass thing and whatever. But, you know, you don't need this. So, why did I bring that up? Oh, yeah. Unnecessary handles that could have been used in a different way. That's not a submarine, that's a car with the wings folded up. It's a flying car. After all, manta rays do glide underwater, fly underwater. Didn't even need those little, the button on the top that triggers this motion. What kind of gimmick is that, by the way? But it's that little tab on the inner side of the joint, that's all you're releasing. You can just as easily do that with no damage whatsoever to the internal mechanism, and yet for whatever reason they insisted on having that. I don't get it. By the way, it's kind of difficult to do a manta ray header when the whole thing is its head. Like, how would you convey the head of a manta ray when it's all just one piece? So, it's a thing. What is this stupid wheel thing? For some reason I thought the eye patch was red. I knew it wasn't transparent like it is in the show, but I thought the eye patch was... Goddamn pirates again. Like, I've never encountered a pirate, nor do I plan to anytime soon. But that being said, what is it with pirates in Super Sentai? Because Again, 1 year later, we went from this, okay. Let's see, the hammer goes on the left. Saw shark on the right. Captain's hat, which looks terrible up here, and then we have Skike Goseiger. Yeah, it's a thing. To be fair, it is a nice contrast of blue, so yeah, that works. At least they got the shades right. Even whether it be painted or molded in blue, or the turquoise, it looks fine. There actually is, like, there is paint. I think the blue that's on here was all painted on, so I mean that looks nice. Unless the wings were painted black, which I doubt. So here's Siak Goseiger. I almost wanted to say Skike, but I've kind of indoctrinated myself to say Skike all this time just because it was the only one I had. So this is my first experience with the, didn't I say that already? First experience with the Siak brothers. Not quite certain what kind of gimmick they're trying to pass along. Maybe it's supposed to be like, not like a garden trowel, that's not what I'm thinking, but maybe a wedge of some kind. Not a sword, or not a dagger or a wedge. Well, maybe they are going for a dagger, I doubt it. But, I don't know. I mean, a hammer, okay, whatever. But, just, it's kind of weird. Speaking of weird, something I don't get, maybe I should address this later, but I'll address it now, just to get out of my head. Why is it that the shark and the phoenix, that still doesn't look like a phoenix, it just looks like a newborn chick. Why is it that the shark and the phoenix headers don't go on the outside here? Why didn't they do it this way? I don't know. Maybe it's so they don't spoil it for ground Goseiger. Maybe it's because they didn't want to spoil that, because, like, pointed knee armor, that's synonymous with anime and giant robots, okay? Like, that's a given. I mean, the Double Zeta Gundam was not the first example, but it is one of the early examples of that. That being said, I don't take headers for giant knee guards. Like, it just... no. It just makes more sense to do it this way. When on display, this is probably how I'll do it. But then, it occurs to me that doing it this way might have overloaded the stunt actor who was actually inside the Goseiger stunt suit. Having shoulders this bulky might have gotten in the way, might have hindered him in some fashion. I mean, I've already gone through this whole spiel about how bad I feel for those guys. Yeah, I know they're trained for it and they've been doing it for decades, some of them. But that being said, maybe this was too much bulk for even them to deal with, because you had this you had to deal with, and then, putting this on here as well. So I don't know. Either I forgot or simply was not aware that there's actually a skull and crossbones just above the face. That's pretty damn weak. Actually, it's more just this is like an American 1980s skull type face, like you would find in, I don't know, like in a video game maybe or something like that. But that's a pretty weak skull. That's very much out of focus. Anyways, I didn't know until I saw... let's see, how do I do this? I didn't know until I saw... let's see, did they do it this way? Oh, that's right, that's right. Take this off. Take this off, and they just disappear for whatever reason. You take this off. I don't know if it's on the box. I doubt it. Not if they're trying to advertise it. Yeah, this might have been something they only came up with in the show. Fair enough. There, and then this is what is known as another Siak Gosei grate. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this actually happened in the show. I might have gotten the arms flipped around, whatever, but that definitely happened in the show. Oh my god, is it just me or is the handle been painted? Why would you paint it when the head here is... Yeah, that was molded. Okay. Another Siak Gosei grate. It happened in... When did this happen? Was this before... It's not like I didn't see this like only a... It's not like I didn't learn about this only a week ago when I saw it in the show, but that being said, suddenly I can't remember if this was before or after Datus Hyper appeared. I don't remember anymore. And it's not even because the situation warranted it. They just like, Hyde was just like, oh, let's try it this way. And he just came up with it on the fly. On the swim. So, yeah, there's another Siak Gosei grate. It's a thing. It is interesting, though, for this particular combination, these three headers get left behind. Like when you do the regular Siak Gosei grate, you plug in the shark and the phoenix, and then the dragon just sits there, but like, they didn't even try. Like, didn't they do it that way? I don't know. So there is Siak Gosei grate. Can somebody tell me what the suffix "ic," like Siak, Skyic, Landic, what are they trying to get out of that? Is it supposed to be like sea attack? Sky attack, land attack? Is that what "ick" is supposed to be? Somebody tell me what that suffix is supposed to mean. I don't know. Of course, if you have two, you obviously have to bring in the third one, the Landic brothers. Now these guys I was not quite as offended by. Like, the color scheme was weird and just the distortion of what was going on. I was like, no thank you, I'm good. So, whatever. Shark header, hammerhead shark header, saw shark header. That's 3 sharks in one series, I just realized. Because this is not a bird. Much as you like to think it is, this is not a bird. This is it's a reptile. Or it was, I guess. I don't know. They're constantly redefining whether dinosaurs had feathers or not. So, is the pterodactyl, pteranodon, whichever one is which, doesn't matter. Is this a bird? Or is it a flying lizard? Maybe we should ask Rodin. Somebody put a label on here that has both Japanese and English on it. So I think that's Japanese. You look at a foreign language long enough and you kind of recognize when it is that and when it's not that. It's like it doesn't look like Chinese, it doesn't look like Korean, it doesn't look like Taiwanese? Or is that the same thing as Korean? I'm sorry. Oh my god. They have these massive wheels on the side, and then they put a tiny little one underneath there. Like, they'll have these the front wheels spin, but the back ones don't. So they have this tiny little one under here. That is the epitome of fucking lazy. And here I thought the Tyranno header was going to be my favorite. Turns out, Well, I don't know. It still could be my favorite of the three. I'm not sure yet. Rar. I don't know why, but I thought the Tyranno header was supposed to be was supposed to have a missile launcher in it. Was I wrong about that? Maybe you didn't research as well as you like to think you did, Ava, and that's why you're screwing up here and not realizing it. Wow, that's really disappointing. They did the exact goddamn thing on it would have been the year before in Samurai Sentai Shinkenger with the Mogyu Dio. The front wheels and the back wheels had wheels that were molded in, so they were supposed to be wheels, but then they tried to hide the actual plastic wheels underneath it. So what's the point of molding in wheels if you're not going to utilize them, just to turn around and have some tiny little hidden ones underneath? Why even bother going through the process of putting that wheel on the side? Just have it be a hoof. Or, you know, make the tiny wheel underneath larger. I mean, it's not like it's going to transform and you're going to have to contend with structural integrity or anything like that, you know what I mean? So here it is 1 year later, they did exactly the same bullshit setup. And don't get me wrong, it looks nice, but I am curious though as why it is the Tyranno header would have a pair of massive spikes on the top. I don't think it had those. Anthropologists, please do correct me if I'm wrong. Wow, this header might be like entirely painted except for the wheels. He does have a nice snarling face though. I do like that. You look at it just right angles, yeah, that looks legitimate. With just the slightest distortion of chubby added in just for show, I think I can live with that. Ooh, he rolls nicely. So this makes what, the third rhinoceros that I have in my collection that's pertaining to Super Sentai? Because I've got Gal Rhinos. What's the other one I got? I said it, now I gotta think about it. Okay, I just flipping... Maybe I was thinking of Side-Eye from Keki Ranger, which would have come out 2 years earlier. Obviously, there's Ginga Rhinos. So anyways, this is the Psy header. With that little pod on the top. You know, when this first came out, I thought it was a mole. I don't know why, because, you know, like, moles usually do this in science fiction. You know, they have that big drill nose. Oh, mole, Cube Moguru, however, Cube Mole has the little twirly thing, except that it doesn't actually spin, it just sits there. But, you know, I'm not going to take the time to go salvage that just so I can show you. But anyways, this is a rhinoceros. You would think that this would be pointed upwards, but if that's the case, what's this little pod on the top here for, just above there? Like, I know rhinoceros has, you know, a larger one and then a slightly smaller one just behind it. So that's what they're aiming for, but that being said, not convinced. Well, it does look, I mean, it does have the features of a rhinoceros. It does look like it. It's got the ears and it's just got the shape of the skull. Like, yeah, okay, I can excuse it. Now here they did it correctly. Obviously, tractor treads, they can't do that, although these tractor treads do look nice. But here they did it correctly, as opposed to the Tyranno where they didn't. Tractor tread, and then a small wheel underneath it. Tractor treads, because there's one on either side, and then there's a small single wheel between them. So that's how you're supposed to do it. As opposed to this guy, where, again, you got this large wheel, but then you've got this, this bar wheel underneath in the middle, and these big ones that you took the time to mold in there don't actually do anything. Big legs and stubby little arms, okay, I understand that. But that being said, could you not make the giant... You know what? Make the giant legs move, and then make the small ones have like a little coaster wheel underneath or whatever. Oh, the other thing? It's kind of interesting. In 2006, which would have been 4 years before Goseiger, we had Go-Go Drill. You could set it on the ground and you could roll it, and then the drill bit would spin, which is what it's supposed to do, which is what you're always supposed to do. If you have a drill tank, that's what you're supposed to do. Even though this is not a drill tank, why didn't you incorporate it here? Because when it's attached, you have to be able to turn it manually like this. Whatever. And could you not have put that turning cog in a worse place? Because that's where the ears are. Could you not put it behind the ears? So you'd have a lot more space. Oh, maybe. Maybe you'd have more space. I don't know. Find out in a moment. That is a shiny black. Like, that's even more shiny than Gosei Snake. God, dare I say those were painted in. It's bizarre if they did. They could just mold it all and... I don't know. Or maybe it's just the way the light catches it. I don't know. Oh, they're spring-loaded. I did not know this. I didn't know those were spring-loaded. Oh, those locking it. Well, that changes things. Not really, but whatever. Huh. Oh, here it is again. Bunch of tiny little wheels on the side of the Kawaga header, by the way. And these are tied together with a metal rod that goes through the middle and attaches the wheels on either side. And each of the wheels turns individually. So they can do it here, but they can't do it here. Huh? Are they trying to imply wings up here? Is that what that's supposed to be? I don't know if the Kawaga beetle, I don't know if it can fly or not. I don't know. Maybe it's a ground-only beetles. They're, yeah. That's nice. Oh my gosh, the hammerhead shark is so front heavy. I can understand putting the wheel under the jaw, but that being said, oh, jaw folds all the way open. Looks like they tried to sneak some missile launchers in there in the where the tongue would be. I'm not certain. And already there's a problem. You see, why is it the psi header, which is very much the most yellow of the three, why didn't they put the psi header on this side? Now, that's not to say that I can't do that, but officially, why didn't they do it that way? I'm just curious. You would think that these three headers, these three header brother sets, would all have their themes. Now, one is obviously designed for melee combat. One is designed for increased ground speed. Oh yeah, by the way, groundic Gosei great. And one is designed for over-the-shoulder cannons, which is increased firepower, I guess. I'm kind of surprised they didn't. Well, I guess they would have gotten in trouble with Skyke Gosei great because, well, they already have these wings, and Gosei great by itself already has the capability of flight, unless you want to just count it jumping or really high jumping. Now, as I pointed out earlier, having heavily armored knee guards in this case, yeah, it's fine, whatever, because these headers replace these headers, and also these are related to ground activity. So, okay, moving those up, and it just increases the size of the boots. I can live with that. That's fine. So why then, when you have the Phoenix header on this side and the Shark header on this side, when you have Siak Goseiger? But I guess that's just how the collecting gimmick of headers works. People say the head design is boring, or the face design. I kind of think they're trying to go for a slightly Egyptian theme, like ancient Egypt thing, where it's like a mummy or a pharaoh, because you've obviously got some sort of a beetle up. Whoa. You've obviously got some sort of a scarab beetle sitting up here, and then, you know, it's a huge headdress of some kind. So I think they were trying to, maybe they were trying to sneak in a bit of an ancient Egypt theme. I'm not certain. I don't know. Like, it wouldn't have anything to do with these two headers down here, because what does a rhinoceros have to do with a tyrannosaurus have to do with a beetle? I don't know. But that being said, I mean, they did a pirate theme for this, and I don't know what you would call it for Skyke Goseiger. But for Landic Goseiger, that's, I'm not disappointed. I'm not upset with it. Just it exists. It's not boring. Honestly, of the three, I'd say this is the most boring. This is just like pirates, and that hat looks really awful. I mean, like really awful. This header has the manta header, or is it sting header? I don't know. Sting header kind of works. The manta ray header has that same distortion problem that the shark, that the Gosei shark has, where the tail is really thin, but the mid-body is extra large, and then the head is super detailed. Or no, actually, better example, the Phoenix header was really badly distorted. Really, I mean, and I've said this already, so this is like the third time I'm saying it now. The head is nice and detailed and properly proportioned. It's got a really tiny mid-body, and then it's got a really nondescript back half of body, you know. So the manta ray header kind of has the same issue, but it's not as ugly. I can be upset with it and not be concerned about it being ugly. Like, that's okay with me. Gosei Phoenix still upsets me. Still pisses me off. There's Landic Goseiger. So yeah, legs are a little bit cluttered here, but what are you gonna do? Oh, I forgot. Oh shit. Right. How did this happen? How was this done? Suddenly I don't remember. Well, I do remember. Let's see. These come off and go over here. Oh god, which way do these go? Was it? Correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably will be. Is it this way? Or... no, it probably would have been this way. Gosh, if only I hadn't deleted that subtitled episode. I could have checked it. Or maybe... You know, let me go check. Give me a moment. Okay. Alright. Had to check. Okay, so it's not this. I've actually got it semi-backwards. So many headers. What the hell? What the head? And is this open or not? I'll venture to say it's open. It's hard to tell from the screenshot. But this is another Landic Gosei grate. And again, only used in one episode. As a matter of fact, it was used in the same episode where another Seiic Gosei grate was used. And they just, out of the blue, for no reason whatsoever, decided to use it. They just thought it would be funny, I guess. I don't know, I'm kind of glad they didn't do it this way all the time. That would have looked kind of bad after a while. Here's the ironic part. This did not happen with the Skyke brothers. The Skyke brothers never got another configuration. It never happened. So, I had to take a guess. Whichever way you decide to do this, I'm guessing this would be called another Skyke Gosei grate. Skyke? Skyke? Well, they kind of flip back and forth. It's hard to tell. So it's not like you can't do it with the toys. It's just they never did it in the show. For whatever reason, you know. Wow, it's like no matter which direction it's facing, it's always looking at me. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. I think I got it. This next one, which it either appeared in the movie, one of the movies, or it was later in a later episode. I'm not certain. But there's actually a configuration of Gosei grate that does not. Wow, you're way under there. That does not involve any of the main headers. None of those get used. Let me double check that name. Sky, Land, Sea, Gosei grate. Do not expect me to remember that. Sky, Land, Sea, Gosei grate. Are those wings folded back? Yes, they are. Does it have the sword? Yes, it does. Okay. Land, Sea, Sky, Gosei grate. Oh, it just occurred to me. The wings are supposed to fold back for Seiic and Landic Gosei grate. I completely forgot about that. My bad. It's only when you use Skyke Gosei grate do the wings stay in the upright position. Sky, Land, Sea, or is it Sea? I screwed it up already. Sky, Land, Sea, Gosei grate. It's a thing. But of course it comes at the cost of... Oh look, they fall over easily. Stop falling over. All of that. So, it's a thing. Yeah. Gee, maybe I should try doing some non-canon combinations and see what I can come up with. Carbarios! So it actually is possible to attach all of these at the same time and still maintain, and still maintain the original Gosei headers in their proper positions. I think the only exception, the only unused header port is right there. Are they called header ports or header joints? I don't think they're called joints, although Japan does tend to use the word joint a lot to describe a connection point. And fair enough, it is usually an articulating joint, so whatever. But still, Skyland Sea Gosei Great. We, we, yay. Alright, enough of that. Hopefully this is the only time I ever find myself doing this. But it is possible. So are we ready for more Goseiger goodness? I hope you are, because, well, I'm still not certain at this point. I mean, after investing as much as I did in this, well, I guess we're committed. Now, I told myself that if I was ever going to get accessories, and, you know, there was this, you know, there's the Skyke Brothers set. Like, if I had to go with another accessory, like if I had to, because like these guys were filled with oddities and amusements and a bit of stupid mixed in as well. Like, which way would I go with it? Well, this one's kind of a nice neutral territory. It's like it's a WTF territory, but on the other hand, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cute. I can live with that. So this was kind of a, if I was ever to get Gosei Great, if I was ever to get an accessory for Gosei Great, probably I would get this. Ah, warnings. Yay. Let's see. Basically, when you spin the thing around, don't hit anybody with it. Well, for a guy who claimed for six years and 2 weeks that he wasn't going to get anything else from Goseiger beyond this, I'm surprised you're pushing as far as you are, Ava. Me too. Me too. That neck joint lightly ratchets. Well, that's a heck of a scowl he's got there. Consider me impressed. I'm at almost the halfway point in watching Goseiger, and I think these guys have only appeared twice, ever. Well, I mean, there's is that Chrome? No. There's, are these the Mystic Brothers? Yeah, these are the Mystic Brothers. There's the Mystic Hyperdatus, or whatever it is. But, yeah, Mystic Gosei Great. So there's Mystic Gosei Great, which they've only used, I think they only used it once when it debuted, and that was it. And that's probably the only time that you ever got to see the Mystic Brothers were actually down at human size. It was still all CGI, but whatever. The point is they can actually change height, or they can change their size. Why did they snap his feet together? There's a little connection in there. Why? It's not like, I mean, is it just for the display, like this, or... I don't know. Maybe it was just for display purposes. It's hard to say. But anyways, this is Togepi. Say hello. Gotta catch 'em all. I don't know which way's up on this, honestly. So it's either this way or this way. I can't tell. Now there is a big black spot. Yeah, there's a big black spot on the bottom. But these pointy things are narrower down here than they are up here. So maybe for a wider base you do it this way. It does look like he has eyes up here as opposed to down here. So it's kind of hard to tell. I think I'll do it this way. Wait, is that right? Yeah, I think the wider stance goes on the bottom. I don't know if these have names individually. They're just known as the Mystic Brothers together, so I don't know. Now this is what I expect out of a limb swap series. You know, not swapping heads. What's up with that? This is a little more Like, bizarre as this is, it's a frickin' ostrich. The first and only ostrich in Super Sentai history thus far. Whoa. Alright. But that being said, it's ridiculous and it's cute. It would be hard to resist this one. So Ava, if that's the case, why'd you resist it for 6 years? Because I didn't have that for 6 years. What's the point? Like, I actually did consider, like, when I got rid of this, I was seriously considering getting this just to tack it onto there. So it wasn't enough. Ah, right. So, you can turn the head, you can point the head down to the side like that if you want to. That way, that way. You can stick his head down like that. You can tilt his head forward like that. Am I in focus? Am I in camera? I don't know. I can't see what I'm shooting. I just have to guess as I go. And I have to pre-focus. That's either a compress, you know, like the bag of ice you stick on somebody's forehead when they've got a sickness or something. It's either that, or it's the same kind of. Oh, I just realized this isn't a header. Well, I didn't just realize it, but it's either that or this forehead thing is supposed to be like the grill that the 5 main headers have and none of the others have. And in a weird way, this is kind of the Super Sentai that I remember. Not that thing with like the simple transformations and the blocky part swapping and blah blah blah. Like this kind of feels like Super Sentai. Now it's green, even though there's no Green Ranger. So whatever. And you can't pose the legs except for this one leg here, and that's strictly for transformation purposes. Strange choice, Plex. Very strange choice. Why don't you give us the option to, move both of them? So with that said, let's see. Can we do it? Oh, okay. I don't know how these ankles work. And the leg only tilts in that, whoa, as soon as I said it, I was totally wrong. Oh, so the leg does tilt backwards, okay. And that doesn't turn, and, okay, that's what I thought. So, I guess you could pose it, I'm not certain. Because it only ratchets to those 2 positions, and that's it. And then, wow, that's a strange choice. Huh. So it is possible to pose with it, it's just you're very, very limited in what you can do. The head turns in some nice ways, whatever, but, when you're only working with one leg and ankles that only ratchet to 3 positions, and albeit 3 very strange positions, and then you stick the toe, or the talons, I guess, it is a bird. Stick the talons in here, and it gets a bit strange. So it is possible to pose it, just you're going to struggle with it. And then, for whatever reason, you stick, oh my goodness, friction only? Plex? Really? Oh, so that's why that black dot's on there, so it tells you which side it goes on. Yeah, this sticks on here only with friction. I wasn't aware of that until just now. Or I'd forgotten about it. Either way, I like that he's got a cute little tail back here. That's nice. But that being said, yeah, he's totally got a face in his butt. I guess we're not supposed to pay attention to it, though. So yes, this is the Mystic Brother. And before y'all get to wondering, no, I'm not going to try and attempt the scavenger hunt that is the Exotic Brothers. Wait, these are the Exotic Brothers, right? No, these are the Mystic Brothers. I'm not going to even attempt to go for the Exotic Brothers. That's not happening. Considering how difficult it was in Japan to get them, and considering it's 6 years later, and how the prices of these things, and considering how collector-centric they are, I'm not that desperate to get my hands on the Exotic Brothers. So, I mean, even one of them, there's no reason. They only appeared in one episode. A bit like those two alternate or those two alternate brother combinations, you know, alternate Siak and alternate, or another Siak and another Landic Goseiger. You know, only appeared in one episode, so I kind of wish they'd kept them for later episodes. You know, having a bunch of repainted Gosei dragon headers running around. Now, this is all well and good. It's strange, it's cute, whatever. This is all well and good. It's the combining where it starts getting into the bizarre realms of the bizarre. And yes, I know the special attack for the Mystic Brothers is to, or the finisher attack, I guess, is to have the egg pop open, and it somehow this becomes even bigger than normal. It surrounds the monster and it just goes BANG! So, I'm aware of that, and I think they've only done it once so far, so I don't think it matters which side this goes on, so I'm just going to pick one and go with it. Here you have one of the strangest limb swap options to ever appear in Super Sentai history. That would be the Mystic Gosei Great, which, now that I see it, it's a lot bigger than I realized. I mean, having Gosei Great, and then not having Gosei Great, and then having Gosei Great again for 6 years, has not, as it turns out, adequately prepared me for how adequately large this thing is. And holy crap. This, of course, you know, it's such a... Wow, that spins really nicely, by the way. Color me impressed. Mystic Gosei Great does bring up an interesting point, though. This is, like I said, as bizarre as Mystic Brothers is Mystic Brother, as bizarre as this individual mecha is, the combined form brings up an interesting question. Now, I don't know the behind the scenes of Super Sentai as much as I like to think I do. That being said, I'm wondering if beyond headers, Bandai Toei and Plex had initially intended for some additional figures to be released in the DX series, because it very much makes sense that, I mean, Mystic Brothers should have been, you know, maybe it had been in the center torso, and it's a giant propeller thing. Why not? It's not like they haven't done something like that before. But that being said, it's very off-center design, very, and it makes me wonder if maybe they did have plans for another critter, full-size critter, and by the way, not a header. Like, I don't know, what are these called? Does it say what they're called individually? I don't think it does. Oh! Mystic Runner and Egg Header. I gotta remember that. They've got a little bit of English right here. So Mystic Runner is what the ostrich is called, and then the Egg Header is what that thing's called, even though it's not a head of anything. So anyways, it makes me wonder if at some point in development they decided, well, we've got this header swapping thing going, do we really need an accessory mecha? Well, I mean, we've already developed the Mystic Brothers, why don't we just go ahead and throw it out there and see what happens. I wonder if at some point, this is pure speculation on my part, if at some point there was another one that would have gone on this side. Maybe, you know, I'm not even going to try and speculate on what would have been on this side, because considering how bizarre this is, it's a catapult and it's a shield, I guess? I don't know. Although I'm sure Power Rangers would have come up with a good alternative. They just put a big old motorcycle that transforms, and you can attach some headers. Or are they called heads? What are they called in Mystic Force? I don't know, and well, I don't really want to know, but I am a little curious. Are they called head Zords? I don't know. They even have names. I don't know, and furthermore. But it makes me wonder if at some point they're going to attach something here. Maybe even attach something to the front, or possibly even to the back. No, they wouldn't have attached something to the back, because, oh, by the way, they've got this huge wing thing happening back here. But anyways, it is an oddity. It's an oddity mixed within a conundrum. What's that phrase? I don't know. It doesn't turn to the side, and it doesn't point up. It just kind of oddly tilts to the side like that. It's a little strange. And obviously you do still have full rotation of the shoulder. But yeah. As strange as it is, this is the main like, this is strange and cute, but it's kind of the main reason why I didn't get it, because it's lopsided. Can you attach it to the shoulder point? Yeah, you can. You just won't have room to do with anything with it. Oh, I was wrong. I'm so fixated on these header mounting points, I completely forgot that they don't have one on the shoulder point. Asked and answered, Ava. Asked and answered. Mystic, Goseiger. It's strange, it's bizarre. Yeah, I kind of want to know. I have it. Yay. What is this toy line? Like, just... like, Shinkinger had some... or no, it wasn't Shinkinger. Hurricaneger. Hurricaneger had some really bizarre accessory well, no, they didn't. They had their particular gimmick when they really started concentrating. Well, they didn't really, but I think they got the inspiration from the limb swapping in Goseiger. But Hurricaneger, they had the Karakuri balls, the Karakuri weapons. Those were interesting because they weren't animals, they were weapons that were shaped like animals. And, you know, when they initially deployed, they acted like an animal, they'd roar or whatever. But is it my imagination, or were they trying to summon Hurricaneger a second time? It might not have been the best of timing to do it, like timing up accessory weapons and a whole bunch of accessory weapons along with trading cards, along with angels. Technically they're angels, they just... alright, that's another thing for another time. But anyways, is it my imagination, or were they trying to redo what Hurricaneger had done, would have been 8 years previous, no, 8 years previously, because Hurricaneger came out in 2002, and Goseiger came out in 2010, so it was 8 years. So, were Bandai Toei Plex trying to do it again? They couldn't do, you know, the Karakuri balls, they couldn't do, you know, swap hand of the chest. It's like, you know, maybe we should try and do with this Goseiger line what we couldn't do with Hurricaneger, and that is to have the weapons themselves attached to the mecha, have them stored on the mecha somehow, cleaning up our accessories. Is that what they were trying to do here? Now, it has taken me 6 years to reach that point where I can ask that question, where I can think of that question. Is this an attempt at a redo, or an update, or an alternate version of the Karakuri weapons from Hurricaneger that isn't limb swap. I think I'll leave that open-ended a bit. Wow. It's a lot of accessory to deal with. Gee, wish I had a way to store all these things all at the same time in one compact unit.